Well, the newly appointed eThekwini city manager has his work cut out to rebuild the city's infrastructure. Musa Mbhele was announced as city manager in August after acting in the position for over a year. He took over from a former manager, Sipho Zuza, whose term ended after he was charged with fraud. eThekwini is still reeling from the 2021 July unrest as well as the April floods. So let's find out his plans and as he progresses on his position to take the city forward, especially with the festive season just around the corner. Musa Mbhele joins us now live from Durban. Thank you so much, Mr. Mbhele, for your time this morning. A very good morning to you. Listen, you really have inherited a lot, especially when it comes to being able to overcome, number one, from an economic perspective, the effects of these July unrest. But number two, I think really eThekwini has been hit hard. KwaZulu-Natal has been hit hard by these floods. We already can't even utilize our beaches simply because of areas of contamination. What are your plans?
Good morning to you and good morning to your viewers. On top of our list is to upgrade our infrastructure to grow the economy. I mean, some of our economic nodes were totally destroyed during the floods. So we are basically seeking to restore those. We want to build our infrastructure, electricity, focus on water and ensuring that there is consistent supply. We want to ensure as well that we deal with the mass care centers. Some of our people are still located in the mass care centers. But more importantly, we want to strengthen our disaster preparedness and response to ensure that if we would become hit by a similar storm event, we are ready, far more ready than we were, but more importantly to ensure as well that there is food security. Some of our communities, particularly those that are located next to the river plains, their community gardens have been totally wiped away. So we want to ensure that we secure food for them. We also want to ensure that we continue providing social support to the victims of the floods and their loved ones, because what many people don't know is that we are still sitting with hundreds, if not thousands of people that are still going to be dependent on the state for very long.
You know, festive season is just around the corner. And we do understand that eThekwini is always the place where many South Africans flock to, just simply because of the offer that it has, from the scenic offer to our oceans to just the environment. Do we anticipate having a similar kind of festive season this year? And this is in light, of course, of still the issues with our sewerage being in some of the beaches and how some of the beaches are still not usable in eThekwini. So how then do we fast track this process so that come December, you're not losing out from a tourism contribution perspective?
Thank you very much. What many people don't know is that we have been working behind the scenes to ensure that we restore our infrastructure in such a way that we boost our tourism economy, which, as you have rightly said, is dependent on, amongst other things, our beaches. So this festive season, we are really projecting that we are going to have over 900,000 visitors compared to last year. So we have embarked on an aggressive campaign to market Durban as a tourist destination of choice across all our 9 provinces. We have sent teams to major international events to go there and ensure that they market Durban as a destination of choice. But more importantly, we are also courting a number of airlines to fly from Durban. So we want to really activate this particular route. And we've got a lot to show. We have invested a lot of infrastructure in boosting our tourism in the townships. So people must come to Durban. There's a lot to see. So we are ready really to welcome them. We've got 13 beaches already operating. We are planning to have 30 more opened up by end of November, because we are working around the clock to ensure that we fix infrastructure for that.
Okay, so then if I have to quote you on this conversation that you and I are having today, by the end of November, we'll have many more beaches that have been opened up, so that, you know, because there's no point in marketing tourism and saying people must come to eThekwini if they cannot even enjoy what eThekwini has got to offer. So I can hold you to it that, let's say by the end of November, a lot of our beaches, if not all of them, will be opened up, so that indeed, as we are promoting tourism, but we give something and we give people something to look forward to when they arrive in eThekwini.
Absolutely, absolutely. We would not have embarked on such an ambitious campaign if our infrastructure was not going to be ready. And you are quite correct. So we are working around the clock, as I've said, to ensure that when visitors come, they enjoy a better city of Durban, and they will see that the devastating floods will all be behind most of the Durbanites. So we are ready to welcome them.
I cannot also avoid the fact that you have taken over this position under a cloud, right? Your predecessor left under a cloud where, you know, he was charged with fraud, right? And therefore you stepped into the position as well. To be charged with fraud when you're taking over such a significant position is not something that we can write home about. So then how do we make sure that how do we hold you to account to ensure that what happened to the likes of Sipho Nzuza will not happen again to the likes of Musa Mbhele, that your story is a completely different story? I think more than anything else, Mr. Mbhele, you'd agree with me that South Africans are just tired of hearing that people that are in positions of governance, whether local or national, are looting money or are involved in nefarious activities instead of being there for really to serve the people. So how do we hold you accountable that what happened to your predecessor will not be the story of yours?
Yeah, we always learn from the mistakes of the past. We consistently strive for zero defect, so to speak, in a sense that we are improving our internal controls to ensure that we don't have a repeat of the challenges that we had in the past. We work closely with Auditor General. We also have our own internal audit committee, but also we have a municipal public accounts that hold us to account. Municipal Public Accounts Committee that hold us to account on a regular basis about virtually all transactions that we undertake as the city. So we have opened doors, we have welcomed Auditor General, and more importantly, Auditor General have come up with a program which they call material irregularities, which if irregularities are not attended to, the city manager in his personal capacity is then issued with what is called a certificate of debt, which means that if I don't act against some wrongdoings, ultimately that money will be recovered from me. So that is not the chance I'm prepared to take. So those are the internal controls that have been put by ourselves in partnership with the state, namely Auditor General, to prevent the mistakes of the past. So I can assure the people of South Africa that we are not going to experience the challenges that we've had in the past.